looking at community nutrition, we have a whole bunch of different regulatory agencies that are going to be looking over the different foods that are produced in the United States and or imported. So when it comes to the agency that's going to regulate pesticides and water quality, that's the EPA. The main food regulatory agency is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. The USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, is going to regulate meat, poultry, and eggs. Seafood and fisheries are also going to be regulated by the NOAA. And then the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, is going to regulate advertising and labels. Remember, the CDC does not have any regulatory status. When we're looking at food safety overall, main causes of foodborne illness are bacterial-borne. Main bacteria most common is E. coli, which is spread through fecal to oral contamination. Salmonella is also pretty common. Salmonella is found in undercooked meats, raw eggs, and raw milk. Other bacteria, which is a concern for pregnant females, is going to be Listeria. And then the norovirus is the main type of virus that's going to cause foodborne illness. Now, safe temperatures to cook things to help decrease the likelihood of getting foodborne illness. Poultry is the highest. It's 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Your cuts of meat, like beef, pork, fish, are all 145 Fahrenheit. And then ground meats, there's a little bit more bacteria that's ground up in it, so it's 160 degrees Fahrenheit. There's going to be a bunch of label stuff on the test, so make sure you take a peek at that. Percent daily values can help give us kind of nutrient content claims, and we can make claims that something is high in it if we have a percent daily value that's greater than or equal to 20%. Or we can make a label claim that maybe it's low in cholesterol or something if it's less than or equal to 5% of the daily value. Other label claims that we can make if the food or ingredient's been shown to decrease the risk of a specific disease. Make sure that disease statement is in there. It's health. It's a health claim. The nutrient content, we've mentioned already. That'll have numbers in it. And then nutrients effects on normal structure. I should say effects on normal structure. So this is a structure function claim. So it'd be more like the physiological effects that it has. Now there are a bunch of different food additives. Have an idea of kind of what they do, what they're used for. So for instance, down here, dough conditioner, this is ammonium sulfate. Leavening agent, that's baking soda. Anti-caking is calcium silicate. Humectants are food additives that help retain moisture. It's like glycerin is a humectant. A food additive that's going to be used to prevent separation like lecithin, that's an emulsifier. A food additive that's a thickener would be like pectin or starch. A firming agent, make things a little bit more solid, it's calcium chloride, so things don't get soft. Sucrose and high fructose corn syrup are examples of sweeteners. Monosodium glutamate is added as a flavor enhancer. Olestra gums and starch are also fat replacers. They give that same kind of mouthfeel to it. One that's going to prevent spoilage, like citric acid, BHA, BHT, EDTA. These are all preservatives. Annatto, FD&C Red 40, these are all examples of color additives. Now we had a little bit on farming practices in here. So farming practices, there's some genetic engineering. When we insert a specific gene, this is known as transgenics. Transgenics are required. They have safety testing they have to go through. There's also what's known as RNA interference, where they will go ahead and knock out a gene, turn it off. There's hybrids, which is conventional crossbreeding, and then we can expose seeds to chemicals or radiation, which is known as mutagenesis. Now, hybrids and mutagenesis and organic farming practices don't require safety testing, only transgenic genetic engineering. So with organic, most of our organic food's actually coming from Africa, Asia, also India and Mexico. What's not allowed in organic production is growth hormones, ionizing radiation, transgenic modification, antibiotics, and synthetic fertilizer. Now when it comes to chicken production, the worst type of chicken production for looking for eggs is going to be your cage-free. And better production methods include your caged enriched colony. There was several different food assistance programs we went through. The only ones you really need to know are SNAP, which is the old food stamps, and then WIC. Women, Infants, and Children does not provide money for foods that have too much sugar or too little iron. They have to meet specific requirements. And last but not least, the most common nutritional deficiencies worldwide. The biggest one's going to be iron. Still holds true in the United States. Zinc, iodine, and vitamin A. Vitamin A is not too much of a concern in the United States because we have access to carrots and other carotenoids.